I was walking into a liquor store. Before I could even get in the store, I noticed a gentleman getting out of his car. It was odd. He was coming out of the car backwards. If you've ever seen a scuba diver grab their mask and kind of fall into the ocean, that's how he was getting out of the car, and it struck me as odd, but I didn't pay much attention to it. So I was in the liquor store and I was working with the owner. We were picking out some bourbon for a bourbon tasting, and we quickly realized that this gentleman wasn't really shopping. He was just following us aisle to aisle and watching us, and he wasn't really even trying to disguise it. So ultimately I made eye contact with him. I gave him the chance to speak, and he said, "I don't know what you do, but are you hiring?" I said, "Do I look like a man that you want to work for?" "You do. You do look like a man I want to work for." I loved it. The energy, the enthusiasm. I wanted to know his skill set right then. I've had the pleasure of hiring 3 great young surgeons in the last 5 years, and none of them said, "Yes, I want to work for you." So I ask you today, how are you presenting yourself to the world? Are you presenting yourself in a way that has a stranger follow you into a liquor store and ask, "Are you hiring?" Or perhaps more importantly, are you presenting yourself in a way that leaves other people saying, "We need you working with us"? I know it's a cliche, but are you dressing for success? Perhaps phrased a way you've never thought of it, do your clothes fit? And if we're going to consider dressing for success, perhaps we should define success, as success could be different for each of us here in the room today. I'm a surgeon and a businessman. For me, success could be making a good first impression with a patient and gaining their confidence and trust, or presenting myself in a positive light in a meeting that presents new business opportunities. For you, it might be a job, promotion, relationship, or perhaps just dressing to feel more confident. So let's consider the external effects of attire. There are countless studies year over year that have shown that dressing professionally can make you appear more intelligent, more confident, and more capable or suitable for a task. But instead of detailing various studies, I'd rather introduce you to Jeremy. Jeremy's a concrete worker. He's a very hardworking man, and in the past, he dated an associate of mine named Nikki. One night, Jeremy came home and he said, "Nikki, now I know how your doctors feel every day. Nikki, today I put on my suit. I went to the funeral home. After the funeral home, I went to the bank and I stopped at several stores. Today, everyone said hello. Today, everyone asked me how I am. They wanted to know if I need help. Am I doing all right? Nobody ever asked me if I need help. Nobody ever asked me if I'm doing all right. Nikki, it must have been the suit." So in one afternoon, Jeremy became a believer that what you wear makes a statement to the world and can in turn affect how the world responds to you. But beyond how the world responds to you, what else is in it for you, this dressing for success? I would say that probably across the board, the most likely answer would be a job, whether that's going to be your first job or whether that might be your next job. I think most of you today would probably be surprised to know that in a survey of executives responsible for hiring, they were asked to rank professional attributes and characteristics of your job applicants. Work ethic and being knowledgeable actually ranked below your appearance. 2 pretty important qualities. On that particular survey, professional attire ranked second. Work ethic came in at number 4. Being knowledgeable was a distant 6th. And if you're curious, the ability to communicate was number 1. Before I even began today, I think most of us would have agreed that attire has external effects. It's how you present yourself to the world. But perhaps fewer of us would have known or would have agreed that attire has internal effects as well. In psychology and sociology, there's a principle known as locus of control. If you have an internal locus of control, you feel like you're in control. You can influence and determine outcomes. Whereas if you have an external locus of control, you feel like you're not in control, and you blame others for events or outcomes. Research has been done on self-perception, how we view ourselves. And that research has shown that dressing professionally can make you feel more authoritative, more confident, and it can increase these feelings of having an internal locus of control, feelings that you're in charge and you can determine and influence outcomes. Interestingly, some of that research was actually done right here at the University of Southern Indiana. There's another study that I think really illustrates this internal aspect well. In 2012, Hajo Adam took a group of test subjects and he divided them into two groups. Then he took a garment. There was nothing special about the garment. It was a disposable white coat. Nothing special about the garment. He gave the same garment to both groups. He told one group that it was a doctor's lab coat. He told the other group that it was a painter's smock. And then he had both groups participate in academic tasks and challenges. And what he found was if that garment symbolized something to you, and if you were wearing the garment, it could change your behavior. The group that thought it was a doctor's lab coat had increased selective attention. Selective attention is the ability to focus on what's important while ignoring what's not. When they compared the doctor's lab coat group to the painter's smock group, they also found that the lab coat group had increased sustained attention, the ability to focus on something and then work it toward completion. So they found that beyond the obvious external effects of attire, there are profound internal effects as well, especially if the garment symbolizes something to you. Now let's consider another cliche. You only get one chance to make a first impression. Studies have shown that a first impression can be made in as little as 1/10 of a second to a maximum of perhaps 12 seconds with regard to confidence, competence, and credibility. Confidence, competence, and credibility. And those are lasting impressions, and the studies have shown that your attire plays a significant role in those first and lasting impressions. So I was in the drive-thru, I was getting some chicken. My wife was out of town. I lacked adult supervision. So I went to the liquor store and I decided to get some fried chicken. So I pulled up to the window and they said, "Your chicken's not ready, wait out front." I waited out front. I still didn't get my chicken, so I went inside the restaurant and I found myself waiting with a small group of people. Ultimately, they handed me my chicken and I turned to leave. Guys start yelling, "That's it? That's it? You're not gonna give him a coupon? Look at this man. You gotta give him a coupon. Gotta do something." It was awkward. It was very entertaining. It was uncomfortable. All I wanted was a 3-piece and some slaw. And there's a guy that I've never met, I've never spoken to, and he's yelling. There's a guy behind the counter, felt bad for him, he's getting yelled at. Nobody gave me a coupon. Now, I'm not suggesting that you want to make a first impression that has someone yelling in a fast food restaurant. But it does beg the question, how are you presenting yourself? Do your clothes fit? Do they fit your dreams, your aspirations, your desires? So if you're interested, if you want to do this dressing for success, let's talk about how to do it. Well, a major principle, if you take nothing else away, a major principle is fit. Whether your workplace is casual, as you can see on the left, or more formal, as you can see on the right, properly fitting clothes are a must. The gentlemen in the after pictures make a better first impression. They appear more confident. They appear more capable. Now, you might be thinking that you just don't know much about this. You don't have much interest in this. And you might even be saying, "Mark, you just don't remember? Mark, you just don't understand." Well, let me promise you, I remember. Let me promise you, I understand. If you like that one, wait for it. Let me promise you, I understand. My life hasn't always been pinstripe suits. That's my wife, Donna, that you see on the left. She claims not to remember the first 2 times we met. I remember them very well. I know where we were. I know what she was wearing. Obviously, I did not make much of a first impression. Seeing how I was dressed, I guess that's understandable. So for the men in the room today, I've become your guide. I've become your personal shopper. And everything that I'm about to show you, I picked up in 1 hour at an outlet store for a very well-recognized national brand. If your workplace is formal, or if you need formal events for evenings, dinners, events, here we have a very nice formal suit. We have a shirt and tie, double mink strap shoes, all for $182. Originally priced closer to $600. Now, if your workplace is more business casual, here we have a business casual suit. We have a shirt and tie, or I've given you a choice of a polo shirt. We have a belt, shoes, all for $264, originally closer to $500. And finally, if your workplace is casual, here we've taken the same sport coat, we've dressed it down, chambray shirt, given you a choice again, jeans or twill pants, belt, desert boots, all for $235, originally, again, closer to $500. Now, for the women in the audience, you may be thinking, okay, now it's our turn. Mark's going to provide some guidance and advice for us as well. So I reached out to my advisor. This is Taylor Logan. It's my oldest daughter. I told Taylor about the conversation we would be having today. I told her about my thoughts. She was swift and she was emphatic. I'm completely unqualified, she said, to provide guidance for the ladies. She went on to say that it would be creepy if I were to discuss slacks versus a skirt. Taylor, you win? I accept. I'm not the most qualified to provide this advice. So ladies, please accept my apologies. Are you dressing for success, whatever your success might be? Are you dressing for the life that you have? Or are you dressing for the life that you want? Do your clothes fit? Thank you very much.